completes the signature process, we now have a student signature and a parent signature. So now the student's going to bring up their application to see the final result. So they retrieve their application, username and password, and on this page, this is their application. Notice that right in the middle there's a click this link to view your current DREAM application confirmation page. And when they bring up that confirmation page, you'll notice now that there's only comment code number 1 in red. There's other comments, but these are not things that they have to change on the application. They're just advice to help the student. But they now have a DREAM Act ID number, and that is a number that we can use to uniquely identify this student, and they have an expected family contribution. And that's a number that's used by the campus and the Student Aid Commission to determine the student's financial needs. Now, this process doesn't save the parent's PIN from year to year. The feds have an advantage in that they can identify the parent by matching Social Security numbers, and when a parent gets a PIN, they can use it for multiple students over multiple years. Every year the student completes the application, they're going to have to get another parent PIN. We just don't have the capability to store that in the same way that the feds do. So they've completed their application. Oh, boy. We're going to send this to the colleges that are on the application. If there are corrections necessary, they simply go back to caldreamact.org, re-enter their application or retrieve, and go in and update the information that's required. Okay? The confirmation page will be visible as soon as we get the final signature that's necessary. If it's a independent student, we only need the one signature. If it's a dependent student, we need the two signatures. But then we immediately calculate the student's EFC and produce a confirmation page. Now, the feds don't do that. And the reason is that they do take their application data and run it up against information from other federal agencies. These are called the database matches. So they check with Department of Homeland Security, Social Security, IRS, Veterans Administration, and so forth to see what the student's status is. We don't have to do that. So we can produce an EFC as soon as we have those final signatures right away. Now, the student can't use their PIN from last year either. It's not something that we saved. So what does the student do next? Okay, they really should follow up with the college. They've submitted their application, and the question they want to ask the college is there anything else you need from me? A certain number of these students will be selected for verification. This is very much like the federal verification process. You know, taxpayers that are paying for these students financial aid want to know whether they're legit, and so the campuses will verify some of the information on their application, including their income, the number of persons in the household, the number of persons in college. For males between 18 and 25, they will see whether the student is registered with Selective Service. That's a requirement not only of the Cal Grant program, but at the public school campuses. In other words, you can't participate if you're a male between 18 and 25 unless you're registered with United States Selective Service. Let's be clear here, undocumented students do have to register. It says so on the Selective Service webpage, right on the front page. So to register, the student they could go to the post office, but we'll be posting that it's just a very brief application that just says what's your name, date of birth, address, and so forth, and send that into Selective Service, and they'll get a notice shortly thereafter that says you are registered, and they should hold on to that confirmation in case their school asks them to verify their Selective Service status. What? Oh, yes, and the Selective Service does not share information with other federal agencies. Just think about it. Selective Service wants to make sure they have enough people to fight wars if necessary. They don't want to jeopardize those bodies they have by getting them deported or anything like that. Sorry I said it that way, but that's the way I said it, so we were 100% clear. So we've been through the application. We've talked a little about the eligibility criteria. You've asked some wonderful questions, so I really appreciate that. Again, students and parents have different telephone numbers to call. This is something new for the Student Aid Commission. Other students complete the FAFSA, and if they really have problems with the FAFSA, they call the Federal Central Processor in Illinois. Okay, that's fine. But we're the processor here at the Student Aid Commission, and so you call us, and we can answer questions about completing the application. Now, we also are the Cal Grant processor, just as we were. This student population, if they're applying for Cal Grant benefits, also have to submit a grade point average. They likely don't have a Social Security number, so we're requesting campuses to send us GPAs for their AB 540 students. I'm talking college campuses without a Social Security number. So they identify who's AB 540, and they send us their GPA and some other information, demographic information, so we can match it to this application. High schools are doing the same. We've received a large number of GPAs submitted to us without Social Security numbers. And in Web Grants, which is our portal for high schools and colleges into our database, in Web Grants we have the file layouts. These are the file specifications to create a batch of non-SSN GPAs, and you can get that file layout in Web Grants. So this application is open 24/7. Like the FAFSA, there'll probably be some time in the wee hours when we have to back up the system or something, so occasionally it will be down. But basically, we're running this application on its own server, and so we don't have to bring down this application when we're doing most of the maintenance that we have to do. So here's another question. Are applicants selected for verification? Most definitely. We will be selecting them and informing the college that verification has to be performed. Can a high school submit GPAs for mainstream students without a Social Security number? Most definitely. And let's be clear here. High schools can submit any of their GPAs without a Social Security number if they use the file layout that's in Web Grants. Okay? Colleges, we're asking them not to submit all their students using non-SSN. We ask that you send all of your GPAs that you can that have a Social Security number, and then separately send us only your AB 540 eligible students in a separate file. We just want, that's for colleges. So yeah, they're separate. For our college, send us all your GPAs with a social in one file, and then find your dreamers and get their GPAs and put them on a separate file. They do have to be sent separately because we don't have a Social Security number to match with this application, so we need a lot more data. The basic Social Security number GPA file has 6 fields. The file layout for non-Social Security GPAs has 21 fields. So we ask the student's name, date of birth, gender, email address, parent's name, parent's email address, stuff that's on the DREAM Act application so we can match them together. Well,
I just want to make a few comments about the Cash for College workshop.
you're hearing the voice of Despina Kostopoulos.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending today. There's a couple of questions. One, I want to just underscore that the scholarship that's available, or scholarships that are available through the Cash for College program this year, as in the past years, have been available to Dreamers. So we'll continue with that. And so seniors who attend a Cash for College workshop, they need to submit an exit survey, either online or by paper, and then they need to apply for a Cal Grant by the March 2nd deadline, and then they will be put in consideration for the Cash for College scholarship. And as you all know, that at that point it's a random selection from those students who have applied on time. There is a question about, I'm assuming you mean, is the 800 or the 888 number available during the evening when the workshops are occurring, or a weekend when the workshops are occurring? The answer is that the call centers are available in certain hours here at the Student Aid Commission. I don't have those memorized, but they are during business hours. We do have a technical number that you can call, Ken Haas technical support line, if you're having any issues with the wrapper. And then you can also email cashforcollege@csac.ca.gov. We'll be monitoring that after hours as well. But there will not be an 800 line or a toll-free line to get to after hours.
Here's a question. For Cal Grants, is there a minimum college GPA once they're enrolled in college to continue receiving funds? Every campus will have what's called a satisfactory academic progress standard. Usually, most cases, it's 2.0 GPA. But the answer is you cannot continue receiving financial aid if your grades just go straight downhill. Basically, you have to keep your grades up and not get on academic probation, which is what they put the students on. And if you get the grades, you can continue receiving financial aid. If you got any more questions, type them in the box. What we're going to do with these questions and the ones we got on yesterday's session is put together a Q&A, and I'll give that to Despina, and she can publish it or post it out there so that we cover some of the questions that were answered. We have had a wonderful time here today, and again, this is new for everybody, so just if you run into something that you're just scratching your head, then give us a call, contact us, and we can get an answer for you. The point is that I've been in financial aid for 27 years now, and I don't know all this stuff yet. So we are working on filling in the blanks for this new student population so they can receive the benefits that the law allows. Okay, well, then that does conclude our presentation. Thank you so much for participating, and have a great rest of the day. Good day.